Okay, looks like I'm live. Well, I've been having some issues this afternoon with feedback, so hopefully that has settled down some. But I have my camera in an odd place because I feel like I'm not looking at you, but I'm going to try and do it anyway. I'm looking at you a little bit now, and hopefully that will work out. It's always something, isn't it? Technology is just works so great sometimes when it works, and then sometimes it just throws you for a loop. So how is everybody? Are you finding ways to stay warm? Because I'm going to tell you, this cold weather is today, today it was like it was a heat wave, and the wind was blowing so viciously, but it was 40 some degrees, and that was like, oh, it's so nice and warm. That's crazy. It's crazy when you start thinking that 40 degrees is warm, but that's how I felt. I guess you did too. um what's happening right now? Let's see. Not much celebration. $60. You purchase it, you have a $60 order, you get something free out of the celebration book. And oh, what else is happening? Not a whole lot. I'll be at the Warnersville Library, but not for a while. It'll be in February, the fourth week, I think it is. The fourth week, the third week. Gosh, I can't even remember. And I don't have my calendar in front of me. Hi, Connie. Don't have my calendar in front of me, so I can't tell you for sure. But it's coming up. It's not coming up. It's not coming up till February. So okay, so here we are. There's Carol and Brenda and Linda. Hi, everybody. Oh gosh, it's chilly, windy, crazy, huh? Yeah. Okay, so you know what I decided to do tonight? I got this. I got a bunch of designer paper in, and it's been sitting here, and I haven't touched it. And today I just decided I'm going to open a pack and I'm going to use it, and I'm going to um, use some of my templates that I have, so I can I can even get myself out of the picture because I don't really have too much of anything else to any wisdom to impart to you that I need to do that this way. Um, Online exclusives dropped tonight. I'm using this stamp set. It's called Memorable Blooms, and honestly, not so much using the stamp set as the dies. And the dies, I'll show you. I'm just using that one, and I have one thing cut out. Let me just show you. That's the piece that I have cut out. Isn't that pretty? Um, and that's what I'm using mostly is the dies. But these are pretty easy cards again, and I have this paper, and I really like this paper a lot. It's just very pretty, and this is it, and it is called Everyday Happiness. So what it has in it is this pretty gingham, and this is oh, let's see, like Lost Lagoon, sort of. Let me pull a piece. Yeah, this is a piece of Lost Lagoon, so you can see how close it is to that color. But then on the other side, it eats that wild wheat color would go with that nicely. And wild wheat is an in color that is going to be going away. Just a reminder. And this piece, I really like this piece. This has all of them in it. It has the gold and the blues. Excuse me. And then it has another one in the middle. What is that? Gray granite. Yeah. Or pecan pie, they say, go with this. But anyway, there's that. And look at this is the other side. Isn't that cute? I think that's really a nice color. I mean, a nice pattern. And this particular pack has 4 of each pattern. So there's only 3. Okay, here's the other one. And that's what's on the other side. That's pretty too. It's just kind of a watercolory wash. So you have, yeah, 4 pieces of each pattern. But there's only 3 patterns, but they're really, really pretty on both sides. And I'm going to use that paper tonight to make some pretty little cards. I'm also going to use templates. You know how I told you when I see a nice fold or a nice something that I like, I make it into a template, and I just use my scrap paper to make my templates. So these are the, whoops, that's, these are the templates that I'm going to use. But I'm doing another one first. Let me show you the card we're doing first. Super easy, really, really easy card. And it's so pretty with this paper. Karen, you made it. Hi there. You know, Karen said she wasn't going to make it. She didn't think she was going to make it, but you did. Okay, I'm going to get myself out of the picture and go right into making the cards. So the first one is the one I showed you here. This is a super easy card. What I did, let me tell you what I did first in planning for tonight's thing. I got the colors that I liked to use with it. So I have Lost Lagoon, Pretty Peacock. I got some card bases with them. And Wild Wheat. There's a Wild Wheat card base. So I have a couple card bases cut. I cut these leaves. I cut this piece. I only cut one of these just because I really liked the way these leaves worked. And I don't know if I'm going to use them all. I don't know what I'm going to use, but I just figured I'd cut a bunch of them and see where they fit. Right? And this I pulled out of one of those ephemera kits. Just again, Karen's grandson is sick. Oh, you know, there's so much stuff going around. Ugh. I cut a bunch of pieces, 4 by 5 1/4, just to have the scrappy pieces here. But let me show you how I made this first card. And I'm going to do a couple of those because it's an easy and very pretty card till you do everything. So I'm going to do a couple of them. Oh, Karen, does he have that stomach thing? They say so much of that is going around. Oh, my husband and I went out to eat at lunchtime today with some friends. And when we got home, both of us felt sick in the stomach, and we didn't eat the same thing. So it wasn't from the food, but we just, I don't know, it was very weird. We just didn't feel very good after we ate. And we both kind of had an upset stomach. I said, gosh, I hope we're not coming down with something. So I have this punch. This is a label punch, and it's not a brand new one. And in fact, you know, I usually label my punches in the back so I know exactly what they're called. And I didn't label this one for some reason. And now I am kind of at a loss because I'm just not sure which. Let me see if I can find it because I don't like not knowing. I'm looking in an old catalog where the punches were very nicely set out, which hasn't been done. No, it's not that one. Okay. I'm trying to find that punch for you, just so you know which one it is. And you know, they have online exclusives. They have so many different things. It's hard to tell what's what anymore. Yeah, this is a problem because it's not. So I'm trying to find a way. As soon as I find this, I'm going to label it so that I have it labeled going forward. Um, 21 curved label. I don't think that's what it is. But anyway, okay, I'm going to move on. I will find out what it's called. No, that's not curved label. I'll find out what it was and I'll label it correctly. Then we'll know going forward. But it's like, okay, so I have this one, which is very similar. This is the Label Me Fancy, but it's bigger. Okay, so anyway, let me show you what I did. I cut this paper and I punched it. And I punched it at 3 different places. Of course, after I did this, I realized that, hey, I could use the back side too, and that would make a cute little one. So I'm going to do that. Okay, 1, 2, and I'll cut one out here and all these polka dot things. And just to be crazy, I'm going to actually cut enough to make 2 cards. And we can kind of mix and match these. Right? Okay. So the next step is you put them up even with each other. 1, 2, 3. Diane, hi. Okay, Connie, it's in the annual catalog. I will look it up. Labeled with love. Okay. No high fever, not strep. They're testing for COVID and flu. Oh. Oh. Yes, Diane. It's when they're little. When the little ones are sick and they can't tell you what's wrong. It's awful. Okay, Connie, I'm going to make that label. In fact, I'm not going to put this away. I'm going to make the label for the back of this so that I have it handy. Okay, so next step. I think what I'm going to do now, you see I did this one. I just put everything on a white card base, but I cut some colored card bases. So I think I'm going to take one. I'm going to do Lost Lagoon and one Pretty Peacock and use the opposite color for the front of the card. Burnish those edges good. I like to do that because I like when the card stays down nice. You could also cut a couple out of this and use them in there too, which maybe I'll do that. Connie, you probably actually recognize that card because that is one that we did with the pink paper like a year ago or so. Okay, now I'm going to have enough for 3 cards because I'm going to throw these into the mix too. And this is just going to show you how easy it is to just go a little crazy. Make a couple cards at the same time. Then you have them. They're a fairly easy pattern to follow. And then you have them for when you need them. And I wanted to make these be thinking of you type cards. And there is a sentiment. That's this one. You've been on my mind. I wanted to use that. So I'm going to throw these into this mix. So now what we're going to do is we need 3 for each card. So I'm going to go. What am I going to do here? Yeah, okay, I don't like that. You like that. One, two, let's go. One, two, three. Those three can go together. Those three can go together, and these three can go together. Okay, so there's three cards. Here's the bases. And here's the card fronts. Let's see, I have one, two, three. That'll work very nicely. I'm going to use these for the bases, and I am just going to do okay, wait till you see what happens here. Oh, I see why I didn't use those, because I used that for the stripe going across. You could use a piece of this paper, just plain cardstock if you wanted to, or you can use one of your designer series paper pieces, which is what I'm going to use. This piece is 2 inches, no, 1.5 by 4. I'm going to cut 3 of them right away. Well, you know what, Connie? If you have the punch, you can grab any DSP and do this with it if it has cute patterns on it. And I just really liked this DSP when I saw it. It's just, I don't know. I don't even know. I think it's actually for scrapbooking. Um, and because I don't see it with any particular stamp sets. I don't know, but I didn't really look. It's Everyday Happiness, it's called. It is a happy color. It's happy colored paper. It's pretty. All right, let's do this. All we have to do, we punched those with the punch, and we are going to cut them in half. And I'm kind of guesstimating the half. You can do this, and I guess I really should do this with my cutter. Okay, you just want to cut this exact. Well, it doesn't even have to be exact. You can eyeball it. Keep them together once you have them cut in half. So set them over there. Grab the next ones. And let's see, these are 2 1/4, so it'd be about 1 1/8 would be the halfway mark if you want to be that precise. Put them to the side. Carol says, you know what, Keith? Yeah, Keith. Connie, your husband's name is up there. And I looked at it and I went to respond and I called you Keith. Sorry. Anyway, where did I spot it that I said, wow, I like that? I'm thinking it might be like with an online exclusives or something. I don't know. Actually, I do know. I went to the product ordering part, and I pulled up designer series paper. That's where I saw it. So I don't even know where it came from. I don't know if it's in that annual catalog or if it's in the mini catalog, if it's an online exclusive. And I really, really wish that Stampin' Up would start marking them so that you can tell what's what. But that I just thought I'm not sure where it came from exactly. Okay, so you're gonna put these. You want all three pieces in whatever order you want to put them. You can turn these around if you want. You can do anything you want with them. Kind of mess around with them a little bit till you get them to the place you want them. I like that even. Okay, and then again, I did not measure this. I just set them in here with about an inch in the middle. Yeah, it's almost not quite an inch. And you glue them in. Now I'm going to put all my pieces down first on all three cards. And the only reason that I'm doing this way, guys, is so you can see how easy it is to make a couple of cards at a time and add them to your stash. And I particularly need this type of card right now that says, that I'm thinking of you, because I have a couple of friends who are recovering from surgeries and things like that. And I know that they're sitting home alone and kind of feeling bummed. And especially with this weather, a lot of people are feeling kind of bummed. So I think it's nice to just get a little, hey, we're thinking about you, here you go kind of card. Okay, so now I'm just going to glue these pieces together. I'm going to give you a little hint here. Start with the middle and then do the outsides so that you get them straight, because you're just going to line up the outside edges with the center one. That way they're going to all end up being straight. Like I said, you don't have to measure, but figure about an inch in between, because your piece that's going to cover that gap is an inch and a half. I think that when you're making cards, figuring a layout, deciding on a layout is the hardest part. We have these beautiful different designer papers and stamps and things like that, but it's just figuring out how you want to use them. That's the hard part. Don't you guys think so? It's easier to, once you know your layout, once you know what you're going to do with your paper, putting it all together and making it look pretty, that's the easy part. So there's two, and that's why doing a couple at a time ends up being so helpful. I know, Carol. I love these colors too. These, the pretty peacock and the blue lagoon or lost lagoon, whatever it is, together. They're just so pretty. Pretty peacock is one of those in colors that were so popular that it came back. They added it to the lineup of regular colors, and it's still really popular. It's such a pretty color. Okay. Now we are just going to glue this right in the center. And you can use either side of this again. I really like this paper. It's so unusual for me to find a paper that I like both sides of every sheet, but I really do. In fact, to the point where I can't decide, what do I want to do? Which side do I want to use? Okay, so that's your basic layout. Now, back to the punch. I'm using that same punch again. And I'm going to punch it for all three of them. Well, actually, I'm going to try this one. This is the to the point. I'm going to use this for just one, just to be a little different. But I'm going to go back to this for the other two, just because we're already using this. And I have Lost Lagoon, or you could use Pretty Peacock. Let me grab one Pretty Peacock ink. That was a job. The Pretty Peacock falls on the very bottom of the stack. Okay, I need 3 labels. And I'm using this. Okay, let me see. This stamp set has "You Are Awesome. Love and thanks. You've been on my mind. I appreciate your thoughtfulness. Thanks so much. You mean the world to me." I'm using "You've been on my mind" because I really like that. But these are great thank you cards. I appreciate your thoughtfulness. You are awesome. I mean, it's useful. It's a useful set, and it has a lot of flower stamps, florals with it. But I'm going to use "You've Been on My Mind" for all of them. There's not a big difference when you're looking at it this way between the Pretty Peacock and the Lost Lagoon, really. Okay, and then let's see. I'm going to grab the little cutouts that I have here. Yeah, that could go on one of them. You could also punch. Okay, so the flowers that are on this stamp set all have a die to cut out around them. So if you wanted to, you could stamp them and color them. This was from the ephemera pack, which I'm not going to use that for now. I just like these with these, and then there's this, and I'm going to do something else with that. I'm not sure what yet, but we'll figure it out. Hey, Barb, how you doing? Yeah, Linda, the colors do look like spring, don't they? Especially this lighter one. But yeah, they have a just a brightness to them that really makes it nice. And I'm gonna go with the wild wheat on that one. I'm gonna go with the Lost Lagoon on this one, and I'm gonna go with the Pretty Peacock on this one. Okay, and again, I wish that I would get myself in the habit of using the adhesive on these die cuts. And so then I would cut the whole thing off and I would just peel it off and it would be sticky. But instead, because I can't seem to get my head around doing that, so I'm using my handy dandy little glue gun here and I'm going to get my glue these on individually. Stick that down, and then I'm going to use some dimensionals for this piece. How are you doing, Barb? You in a hotel now, or are you working at home? You know, the one thing I have to say, when I used to be working and be in hotels, hotel rooms I could never get them warm enough. I just never could get a hotel room warm. I don't know why. You have the heaters on, but they just never seem to get warm enough. I can remember digging out extra blankets and wrapping myself up in them because I would always be so cold. And I'm not I'm usually hot. My husband and I have a battle going because he's always cold. And I'm usually the one that's saying, "Oh my gosh, would you turn the heater down? It's so hot in here." But for some reason in hotel rooms, I just could never get warm enough in the wintertime. Then in the summertime, you have the air conditioner cranked up to ridiculousness. I'm going to put this one on the other side just to be different. Such an easy card. Okay, I can get this stuff out of the way quick and just glue these on the card bases. I'm going to use the Lost Lagoon on the Pretty Peacock. And the Pretty Peacock card front on the Lost Lagoon base. Now, one more thing here. A little bit of bling. Sequins. I think I'm just going to go with gold, either the gold or the blue sequins. And I lost my tweezers. That's what happens when you don't use what they recommend you use. See, I'm supposed to be using my take your pick tool. And instead, I'm debating if I want to use the blue. They also have these, but then I need glue. Yeah, I don't want to use that. No, I'll go with the gold. Oops. I always pop one somehow. Okay. Those are, whoops, I didn't put any bling on the one I finished before. There. So there we go. We did 3 perennial lavender DSP. Oh, good. Yes, that would work. And that is probably very springy with the perennial lavender. Very pretty. Okay, let's see. I have one more that I want to, I want to do this. I want to use that template. And what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to take, let's see, first I'm going to take a card base and I'm going to cut off 1/2 inch off the front. Just to give it a little bit of interest. Okay. Then I'm going to take, excuse me. I'm going to use this paper. And the back of it and the front of it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this whole front. So this front piece is, I don't have that measurement written down. Shame on me. I'm going to do it right now, though. This is 3 3/4. 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. No, 5 1/2. But the piece that I want to cut then is going to be 3 1/2 by 5 1/4. I did that the wrong way. Okay, so that piece is going to go on there. That's 3 1/2 by 5 1/4. And then I'm going to cut the, okay, see we have this thing, 4 1/4 by 4. No, I don't want that side. Here, 4 1/4, 4 1/4 by 2. So we got 2 by 4 1/4. I was freezing up there for a minute, huh? Don't know why. And that's going to fit right on there. But I'm using this side. So let's glue this on first. The thing about some of these DSPs, though, is they're so pretty on both sides. You almost hate to hide the one side. That's when you use the side that you like for an envelope or something. Okay, I'm going to use this side, and I'm going to cut a flag. Now, to cut a flag in a piece this big, the best way to do that is either measure it and mark it, or fold it, crease it a little bit. I don't like creasing it. And I'm going to mark it with such a small dot, you're not even going to see it. You take that, cut that up as far as deep as you want the flag to go. Okay, and then take your corner over to that cut. That cuts right in the center. You take it from the corner over to the cut, and you should end up with a pretty even flag, see? And we're going to glue that down right there. Uh-oh, I messed it up here. Remember that part of this is going to be sticking out here, so you don't want glue on that part. So I'm going to have to wipe that glue off just on the flag points. And I happen to have a wet one here because I've been getting glue all over myself all morning, all day. So I keep that handy. Put that right in the center. I love punches, and I'm going to use a punch for this. You can use the biggest punch, which I have. The biggest one I have is 2 3/8, or you could use a 3-inch circle die. But I just like punches because they're here, they're handy, and they're easy to use. So what I'm going to do with this one, I'm going to use that next. If I can find what I'm looking for. Actually, yeah, okay. I got a big circle here, but it just occurred to me that what would look really cute would be to use this punch again, the point label punch. Punch something out of white. And put that there. Yeah. Okay, so what we will do, and actually what I think I'm going to do with this is I'm going to take a dauber. daubers everywhere. And then when I want one, there's none clean handy. Okay, maybe instead of a dauber, that was close enough. Okay. Okay, this actually, believe it or not, had some ink on it that was dry. And so now I'm just getting a little, this is exactly what I wanted. Such a faint little, perfect. That is just absolutely what I wanted. Perfect. Okay. Brenda, all right. They're just so easy. You don't have to get out the embossing machine, the cutting machine, whatever, and go through all that hassle. It's right there. Just do it, right? Just makes things so easy. Okay, and so there we're going to put our, I'm going to glue this onto this, and then I'm going to put that whole thing on, excuse me, on dimensionals. And okay, I'm going to do You Are On My Mind again, just because that seems to be our theme tonight. So I'm going to stick with it. In Peacock. And dimensionals. So this is how those templates, the ones in the catalogs, the ones that you see online, Jackie Ball Hayes has a whole series of them out that she goes every month. She puts out 4 new ones at the beginning of the month. And I've been making templates every time I see somebody doing something like this that I like. I just do a template of it. Before I stick this down, I wanted to put my die cuts on there. And I seem to have put them somewhere off to the side. What the heck? Here. That'll be pretty. Okay. Like, thank you, Karen. It's a very, these are, like I said, it's nice to have these on hand, just to send to people when you talk to somebody that sounds like they're down in the dumps, maybe needs just a little lift, little thing to say hi. So there you go. Now, when you do the inside of this one, don't forget you're a little short. And so what I'm going to do with this one on the inside, I'm going to take my inside, my regular inside. I'm using a flake, one of the flake cards for this. I'm going to take, yep, that's the right length. Cut a piece, maybe an inch is good. it's going to go on the edge of this paper, and then it's going to set right there. And that's going to just fit right in, right? If you don't like that pattern, you can just go like this, which I actually like better, kind of. So I think I'm going to cut, yeah, no, I'll just put that like that. Then you have your little design inside. And you can write a note or you can stamp something inside. There. I like that. I like the way that came out. And let's see. I think we have time to do another quick one. I'm going to try this one. Using this paper again. I need a piece of, well, let me see what I have for a card base. Looks like I have, yeah. I have wild wheat for the card base, which is fine. That's what I will use then, wild wheat. I'm going to take a piece of designer series paper, cut it 3 1/4 by 5 1/4. And I think I'm going to use, yeah, I'm going to use this one. Okay, 3 1/4. By 5 1/4. So that piece is going to glue right on there. Then we need 2 squares that are 1 3/4 inch. Square. Okay, those are 1 3/4. And then we need just a place for a grading. I think that's going to be that piece right there. This is a super easy one. We have our 3 1/4 by 5 1/4 piece right here. And we're going to glue it down. And then we're going to take our squares. One's going to go here. One's going to go here. And then this piece is going to have the greeting on it, and it's going to go across here. And I need to find a small greeting that will fit right on there. Okay. You Are Awesome is going to fit on there, I think. Yeah, so we're going to do that in Pretty Peacock because that will make it stand out pretty good. And what we're going to do here is we're going to work around, we're going to stamp, yeah, work around this. Okay. Glue these down. You know, that looks pretty cool on that side too. So it could go like that. You could put it like that too, or you can just do what we're doing. So sometimes it's just a matter of cutting out a bunch of squares and gluing them in place, gluing them on something when you have this really pretty designer series paper. And we're just gonna go ahead and angle this and glue it right on there. I have a die cut here. I don't know if it's gonna work. Sure it is. Wait, just one thing. Just want to decide, do I want to put this on top? Maybe cut it a little shorter. Have this go on here. Yeah, I'll just have that like that. So this was an off-the-cuff card. Just let's throw something together because we have a few minutes and I have some paper left that was cut. And so let's see what we can do with it, right? So we have been here for an hour, and in an hour we have made 5 cards. 5 cards in an hour, guys. Pretty good, huh? Just that easy. They're just that easy. That's all it is they're just such easy cards to do. And people are going to get these and look at them and go, holy mackerel, look at this. How cool is this? Right? And we put a little bling on it and we're ready to go. So that was another pretty easy one, right? All right. So here we are. We have, get all this stuff out of the way. This one, and 1, 2, 3. That was my sample. Okay, there we are. Well, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope this gave you some ideas for using some of your designer paper. That's what I'm trying to do because I'm looking around and I have so much of it and so much of this, and I just keep buying new. So I decided I got to start using it and use it like crazy. So these are some pretty easy card and some pretty easy layouts, and just once you get going on it, you just go. Right? I hope this gave you a little inspiration and that you are going to use your designer series paper and make some pretty cards and brighten some people's days with them. Have a great evening, everybody. Thanks for joining me. See you next week. Good night.